Who are you? Scruffy, the janitor. I never seen you before. I never seen you before, neither. Oh my God, it's gonna explode! Scruffy's gonna die the way he lived. Oh, Marmalade! Marmalade was written and directed by Keira O'Donnell, who has had roles in films like Wedding Crashers, Incarnate, not The Beast Incarnate, even though this takes place in Minnesota, and The Beast Incarnate was born and grown there in the great state of Minnesota. If you don't know who the fuck The Beast Incarnate is, then you're not a wrestling fan. He also was in American Sniper and Ambulance and various other movies as well. He's been in quite a bit of stuff. Good, he's keeping busy. Also, let me know in the comments which episode of Futurama that particular opening came from. But this stars Joe Keery as Baron, who is in jail and wants to reunite with his love and tells his cellmate all about it through various flashbacks. His cellmate, by the way, is Otis, played by Aldous Hodge, who is in Black Adam, Hidden Figures, and really is a terrific actor. I'm actually a big fan of his. I need to actually review more of his stuff, because he really is a pretty versatile actor, pretty funny. He can do some good dramatic stuff, so I'm glad he's getting more work. And this all centers around a young lady named Marmalade in a movie called Marmalade. Oh my God, the layers this movie already has. Careful, careful, don't bury me under all these layers. Camilla Morrone, I hope I pronounced that right. She's attractive. I can definitely see why somebody would go for her. She's statuesque, and she, to be fair, her and Joe Keery actually have some pretty good on-screen chemistry, all things considered. And through flashbacks, we find out the story and how Baron ended up in jail. And his plans to break out of jail, reunite with his lost love, and also the fact that if Otis helps him break out, he can have $250,000. Oh, okay, because this is all told right like in the very beginning. So it's really not much of a spoiler, but then we see through flashbacks, the type of guy that Baron is, the type of lady Marmalade is, and then we get some twists and turns because this is a comedy, crime, romance movie. It's an amalgamation of a few genres, Human Centipede together. It's currently streaming on Hulu, and I decided to give this a shot because getting closer to the end of the year, I wanted to go through my various queues and check stuff out. So I was intrigued when I, just looked at the poster, read up on the premise, and looked at the cast. I'm like, okay, this might be a fun little adventure. Now let's start with the positives. The aforementioned stuff with Joe and Camilla, they actually have some pretty good chemistry. Aldous has a few decent scenes. There actually is an attempt at emotional depth, and there are times where things work, where things click. You can definitely tell this is from somebody that has done much more acting than directing, and the cast certainly tries. It treads a lot of familiar ground, and it also is a bit tonally inconsistent. There's a wraparound aspect of the story as things are told in flashbacks while, this stuff that he is telling to his cellmate. Some of it's funny, some of it's, I guess, an attempt at heartwarming. My thing is it doesn't quite fully gel. Like, it does have a conclusion, and it does make sense at the end, but for me, for every positive this movie has, there's just a mundane quality about other aspects of it. The third act gets really messy. Like, it's a lot of setup, and then, it ends up making sense by the end. But it also feels incredibly rushed in the third act. Like, they just did twists for the sake of it. Sure, it has a conclusion. Sure, it wraps things up, properly. But, I don't know, just something about this movie is missing. It was lacking a particular bit of stake, to it. It's just something to sink your teats into. I don't think that's how the phrase goes. It's fine. It's fine for what it is. I didn't hate it. It's mostly just kind of above average. It is what it is. It's on Hulu if you want to check it out. I did like how Joe and Camilla had some good chemistry, and there were some fun moments, but it just didn't fully gel to me. Like, the cream did not rise to the top, as Randy Savage once said. Rest in peace, Randy Savage. Anyway, I get into spoilers, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, basically, Baron recounts how he ended up in prison. We see him arrested. We see him charged, all this stuff. He's talking to Otis. Otis listens to his story. Is surprised. He offers him the $250K if he'll help him escape. Start at the beginning, and he's a delivery boy, hence the Futurama reference. And he was talking about instead of a croquet, it was crochet, but at first croquet, so there was something written on the handle with this old lady. While there's life, there's hope. I don't know why that made me laugh. The overarching story is Baron wanting to take care of his mother. She's on a particular medication where a pharmaceutical company called, well, I'll reveal that in a little bit, keeps getting, raised up like crazy. So he basically did this job. He ended up trying to knock over a bank with Marmalade that he met because he just wanted to get some money so he could take care of his mother. But then certain aspects end up occurring that kind of, throw monkey wrenches into that. And he meets Marmalade. It's almost an instant attraction. She calls him Puppet. Oh, we're all just bloody puppets on a string. And he's asking, while taking care of his mother and while Marmalade meets mother, he's talking to, Marmalade about her life. What the hell's going on with your life or whatever. It turns out she was in foster care. She was abused. A guy had, people that he kept in cages. One particular foster mom did not take care of these people or take care of the kids. Kind of just let them, go by the wayside. And yeah, that was a little bit fucked up there. It was a little bit busy, but also had like pockets of dead air that kind of just took the stuff out of it. I don't think the movie knew tonally what it wanted to be. But yeah, some of the comedy hits, some of the comedy doesn't. We do have a thing with moon pies, by the way, where, he feeds his mother a moon pie. Then Jasper steps out, what a time to be alive. And yeah, she kind of turns a bit violent or whatever. They end up knocking over this like one store or try to get money out of this register because they're young people pulling off their first crimes. Absolutely their first crimes, except then Marmalade reveals a little bit later. She was the one that ended up, doing that. She was the one that has pulled off a crime or 2 or 50 before. So they talk about mothers. And Otis mentions his mother's in Jamaica and that they don't necessarily talk all that much. But, the whole theme, you only get one mama. That is not meant, by the way, as a shot at anybody. You, blood or not, you do only get one mother. And, parents in general, you need to make sure that you appreciate them while they're here. Because I know people that have lost them and I feel really, really bad. But whirlwind romance, all this stuff going on. And Marmalade reveals that she's pregnant. Meanwhile, Otis is revealed as a secret agent man who's been chasing this bandit for a while. A bandit dressed in a pink, girl's dress and stuff like that. A baby doll dress, so to speak, and knocking over all this stuff. And so basically the idea is Marmalade is the bandit. So now Baron is going to lead them to, to this girl. The idea is you got to be there at 3:30 at the hideout that they had the safe house thing. All this, we see all this stuff set up. The mother dies. It turns out the Marmalade had something to do with it. The mother, dies, has these pills like kept there or whatever, these pills that were keeping them alive, some plexomia or something like that. And it's some expensive drug, and the idea is to, have this money to start a new life, but also to help out the mother, but some of the mother's dead. You don't have to worry about that. And they get broken out of prison. I'm just going to call him Special Agent Otis. Yes, I know he had another name. I'm just going to call him that. They break out of prison, but there's this local chief, throws a monkey wrench in there because this is in his jurisdiction, and now Baron's on the run. So, yeah, basically it's, it's him being on the run. He goes to like the ice cream shop diner thing that they were at before. Agent Otis and co. track him. Then there's this one point where he somehow switches cars and gets this one guy, it gets this one employee for the diner, like the diner malt shop to ride in it. He said I could keep the car. There was this beautiful orange car that was for sale that somehow these agents didn't notice was suddenly gone or whatever, but nevertheless, this is where stuff gets a little bit busy. all this stuff's going on. And then it's revealed that, there was this thing about tattoos revealed earlier. Like, Marmalade had a whole bunch of tattoos, a whole bunch of stuff on her legs and everything. But one that was revealed was his tattoo that said Mama. Instead of Marma, it was going to be a jar of marmalade. And he visited his mom's grave and put a jar of marmalade there with Mama written on it. He had Mama on his ankle. So did the bandit. There was never a girl. Baron was the girl this whole time. And now, why was he doing all this? Because he took all this money, knocked over this bank, got this money, and got like the entire supply of this, of these pills. Is his mama still alive? Is he going to distribute them? What is actually happening? Also, it turns out that the pharmaceutical company is named Baron Pharmaceutical. And the guy just so happens to have foster children that he tries to help and everything and fix, junkie rejects and stuff like that. Being abused, locked in cages. All this stuff is revealed right at the end, by the way, so it's a little bit messy. It's played, I guess, for laughs. It's not really played for dramatic effect because you don't really have a reason to care about these characters. And, yeah, so that's really about it right there because it turned, he was dressed in drag. Baron was. And, Baron obviously is a surname for the pharmaceutical, head of the pharmaceutical company. And, yeah, there was this whole thing that was spelled back. It was Etta or Lamrem, Marmalade backwards, Mama Etta. It's a whole thing that they had going on. And, yeah, Agent Otis is going to chase after him, but they arrest the head guy and I recognize the guy that owned Baron Pharmaceuticals. I recognize him for stuff. Can't place it right now. But then basically we have this conclusion where Agent Otis goes and talks to the pharmaceutical guy. He says, look, I just gave him the stuff. He gave me the money. I don't know what the hell's going on. He said he was going to purchase tickets next door. He did. There's a travel agency thing in the shutdown mall, or the shutdown strip mall area. And the travel agent's very, very shocked. He hands him a card, says, sorry for your loss, basically, like, this, thank you, special agent for this kind of stuff, goodbye. But he also gave him a ticket for Jamaica. He paid for a ticket so you go see his mama because you only get one mama. That admittedly was pretty nice. The movie just stumbles a lot to get to like a decent conclusion though. And then he goes to visit his mom. She's in hospice. And there's like a lockbox thing. Not Shane McMahon's lockbox. That's a deep cut for wrestling fans. And puts the pills in there. And now everything's good because they don't know he's the bandit. Well, the agent does, but he's not going to bust him because he got him a ticket to Jamaica. It's messy. It has its moments. C+. I don't know. It has moments. I look forward to what Keira O'Donnell will do in the future, but nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.